All right, welcome back. You know, it was certainly controversial and maybe, just maybe, tinged with a little bit of truth. But Trump's actual words, President Trump's actual words, were you can't take people off an unemployment line, like an unemployment line, he says, to like I'm going to put you in a factory. He argued that foreign labor is needed at times because U.S. workers really don't have those certain talents. I think he probably meant experience, but as you can imagine, there was some pushback on those comments. And when pressed on the fact that we have our own capable workers here, he said, well, no, you don't have. And then he says you don't really have certain talents and you have to have people to learn. And I think that's really going back to experience. He doesn't really mean talents as much. But the president mentioned all the foreign direct investment that he secured, and there's a lot of it, almost $20 trillion. And he said that with all that money coming into the country, well, they're going to, it might be one person saying they're going to invest $10 billion to build a plant and going to take people off unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making their missiles for them. It doesn't really work that well, he added. So my next guest will have a hot take on this, I'm sure. Please welcome to the show, Rebecca Walser. Rebecca, thanks for coming on. There was a little bit of pushback on what he had to say. I think he meant to say really experience rather than talent. But his argument was in the short term, you just can't pluck these people out of thin air and have them go do these really mission-specific jobs. It's going to take time to train them. And I'm making something out of nothing here, but I got the feeling that's what he meant. But it came out kind of mumbled jumbled, if you know what I mean.
I mean, it reminds me, and not that Trump reminds me or his comments remind me, but I hearken back to Biden trying to tell, like, we've got to teach all of these coal miners and these truckers that are losing their jobs to become computer programmers. Like, it just doesn't work like that, right? We don't just, to his point, you're not going to take people that are on unemployment and then immediately have them in a complex manufacturing or high level white collar, blue collar job. It's not going to happen. It does take time. But I'm glad that he didn't come across as condescending as Biden did when he said, you just become a coder and your life will be fine. Like, we can't all become coders. And now, if those people had become IT coders, they would be out of a job too, because now AI is self-programming. So the IT coders are the ones that are going to really, really be struggling. But here's the fact, Scott. We do not have some level of super high intellectual property and people that have enough experience in it that we might need HB1 visas. Obviously, the entrance fee has already been prohibitively risen. And that should basically mean that you're not, as a corporation, going to pay $100,000 to have someone come in if that talent is here, existing, and you don't have to pay it. That's how I sort of see it, as a barrier that will give us fairness. And yes, are there Americans that can go and get this knowledge and this experience? Yes, they can. But again, and I hate to bring this up, but let's look at who our competition is. We're competing against China. All right? That's who we're competing against.
Yes.
And when you look at what China does, where they limit the amount of game playing of their students, while they now have technology being used in classrooms where the students wear a headband, and if their thoughts are veering off from the direction and the attention of the teacher, the headband will light up red and the teacher can redirect. I mean, the technology use, the limitation of what they would call unproductive activity and unproductive time to further China's goal as a country and as a people. We have lost. We have completely lost. We are our youth. I think, I don't remember the country, but there was a country recently that had just put a ban on social media. There was an immediate revolt, and it had to be immediately repealed. I mean, Scott, people were taking to the streets. I'll find out the country for you. What I'm trying to tell you is that's us. We have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of these things that just take so much. They're interesting. They're fun. They become an endorphin producer for people, right? But they certainly distract you and take away from the mission of what we need to do to have these kind of skilled workers just bred naturally in our society.
Yeah, so that's not an overnight. It's not an overnight fix. It does take time. I think he made a good point there. And then I'll finish up with this, Rebecca. Had I had one of those headbands on in school and it went red every time mine wandered, I think it would have seared a band in my scalp. All right, it would have been white hot, not red. So I'm glad I didn't have that happen to me. I appreciate you coming on, Rebecca. I knew you would have a great take on this. Thank you very much for your time. I'm glad you made it back to the country safely. Rebecca Walser, Walser Wealth Management down in Tampa, Florida.